play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpie's name. See the barricades are shouting.
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the
You.
Blurt.
We acknowledge the First Nations peoples of this land, the traditional custodians, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and future. We recognise the ongoing impacts of colonisation and the importance of a voice to Parliament to ensure the sovereignty and self-determination of First Nation peoples is respected and upheld. We commit to working together towards a just and equitable future for all Australians.
Not good. Hi, I'm Keely, and I'm relying on the internet, and it's not really doing me any favours tonight, but I'm coming to you from Wencee country, the Kulin Nation of the Warriorong people, whereas probably if they had some say in it, the internet would be far better. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, and always will be Aboriginal land. Look, good evening, Blurtsters. It's 8:05 on a balmy Tuesday. I'll tell you, it is balmy. It's around about 25, 26 degrees down here, so it's pretty warm. It's been pretty warm all day. It's going down to 17 tomorrow, so that's huge. 10 degrees in one day. Anyway, we will talk about the massive temperature differences very soon. Also, it is the 19th of September 2023. Good evening, Wencee.
Good evening, Kegsta, and I'm coming to you from the lands of Yagara and Turrbal people, the traditional custodians of Mianjin, the lands of which I'm coming to you live. I pay my respects to them, to their elders past, present and emerging. Yes, relatively balmy here as well, about 22 degrees.
Are you humid?
No, that won't come till late in the year or early next year.
Okay.
Still pretty dry.
As was a bit weird today. It actually scares me, I've got to be honest. I mean, there was, it was a total fire ban in Sydney. I mean, that's crazy. I mean,
so soon.
First
weeks into spring?
Second week into spring. I mean, Jesus. I almost read something this week on how the ice sheets in the Antarctic are just melting far faster than the scientists thought they would. But I just couldn't bring myself to read any more of that article.
I know, it's too depressing sometimes, isn't it?
Seriously, it really is. And I was watching Q&A in Fast Forward because I tend to watch Q&A and Insiders on 1.5 now.
Okay.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. I just have to. Anyway, they had this 17-year-old on, and he was banging on about how good nuclear power is and how we should think about it for a energy resource. Right. And I'm like, it's obvious that you're 17 because did you ever hear about Hiroshima? Did you, did you ever hear about Chernobyl? Did you ever hear what happened in Japan a few years ago? Have you
what was that one, Fukushima?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you caught up with all the waste that they've had to dissipate over the last, I don't know how many years, so now they can throw it out to sea? Because
and how it takes 20 odd years to build, and you need the scientists and the technology, which we don't have in Australia.
It's scary how adamant he was that was the solution.
Yeah.
What was scarier still is that the opposition, I think, is going to have it as a policy in when they go to the election.
Next election? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, I would agree, but something that may scare you. They had not a Q&A, they had a poll. Because nuclear power is actually banned. John Howard banned it years ago, and when the Labor Party got in, they didn't think it was a great idea to not ban it, so they haven't. Not banned it, i.e. it's still banned. So that was the poll. And do you know what the result was?
No, do tell.
The result was 62%
In favour.
in favour of it not being banned, i.e., take the ban off.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I know. It
Yeah,
was.
but polls are polls. You always worry about how small the sample is and who did they really target in the polls.
And somehow, some way, sometimes they infiltrate and they sway what they want to try to come out. Because I just don't believe that 62% of Australia think that it's a great idea to ban nuclear and think it's a great idea to have nuclear as one of their energy sources into the future, considering that no one in this country wants nuclear waste in their
Yeah.
backyard.
It's easy to get that poll number because you just need to target phone numbers in a very strong Liberal seat, and I'm sure you're going to get close to 60% of a
Oh,
yes for that.
yeah,
So yeah, that's why I don't quite believe polls.
yeah. Oh, look, I agree, and that segues beautifully into what we're going to talk about next, which is The Voice. And I know that you went on a march last weekend. Yes, yes, and I've got my yes
Voice here.
behind me
Got
as
my
well.
yes. We're both
yesing,
wearing it.
yesing here. We're all yes, 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 and it was interesting. I'm going to let you go first because you've got a little bit more on your march than I do. But but I will talk about
Okay.
what I experienced, which was interesting.
Okay, cool. I ventured out on my own to Brisbane, near in South Bank on
On your
Sunday morning.
lonesome.
On my lonesome, because my dear wife and Elijah, oldest child, were in Sydney at the time over the weekend, so they went to the march in Sydney, which started in Redfern, but I did it on my own here. But ended up not being on my own because I quickly made a friend by the name of Mark while we were waiting, because I got there about an hour early. The 10 o'clock was the starting time, so I got there about 9. But yeah, we started chatting a lot. But yes, so I've got some photos of the day. So that is me. So this is early on, so it's still pretty quiet, but people gathering in South Bank, just outside of the ABC studios, in fact. So anyone who knows Brisbane, that's where that is.
Nice.
This is outside of QPAC, I think that is. I can never remember if that's QPAC or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's QPAC. If Vicky is listening, she'll probably correct me. She's been there many times, I'm sure. But yeah, so this is on the forecourt there. There's usually a big Brisbane sign just on the grass there, but that was quickly hidden by the throng of yes marchers. Yeah, so that was really good. Very crowded. So we did the march.
Did you have anyone trying to impede your march at all?
No, there was a big Aboriginal flag with the words "Vote No" hanging off the bridge that we ended up crossing, which goes over the river. So it was
Really?
massive. Must have been about, I don't know, 20 meters by 15 meters. Huge.
Wow.
Um,
Do you reckon that was put there by the Indigenous or?
oh yeah. It's funny because Vicky says yes, it is QPAC, so I was correct. As I was walking from the bus to South Bank there, I did walk past a couple of Indigenous men with big "Vote No" t-shirts or signs on
Wow.
their t-shirts. I didn't
Wow.
interact, which I didn't want to do because just in case,
Yeah.
you never know how aggressive they can be.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Indigenous. I'm talking about people on the no side because
Yeah.
it's just what we hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there wasn't much. So other than those two gentlemen and the big flag, there's no resistance. There's no confrontation, which was nice. So it was all very friendly. Demographics, it's ranged from young kids as young as 2 to 3 years old, all the way through to grandparents, great grandparents walking, and all sorts of nationalities from across the world. So Vicky says, I was totally bummed I couldn't make it to the march for health reasons. Well done fighting the good fight, Wentz. You're welcome. But yes, it was all sorts of people turned up, which is great. So yeah, we must have been about a kilometre walk. We went around Grey Street and then across the bridge over to in front of the Treasury. Forget what it's called, the casino. There's a casino across the river, but that's where these photos are that I'm showing you right now. The stage was set up on the grass there. Got Kerry O'Brien, who is one of the authors of the How to Vote
pamphlet. Yeah.
Not the pamphlet, the little booklet. I forget.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he's one of the authors with. It's either Dean Parkin or Thomas Mayo.
No, Thomas Mayo. It is.
Yeah, Voice to Parliament. Handbook.
Yeah, that's right. So so Kerry opened it and closed the ceremony, and obviously introduced all the different entertainers and artists that showed up. On the right-hand side, there's a photo of just the crowd from where I was sitting on the grass. Then we got Thomas Mayo there on the left, being introduced by Kerry, who's on at that lectern there on the right.
Yeah.
The right-hand side photo, it was Thomas Mayo and other prominent YES campaigners. I forget their names. They were mentioned on the afternoon, but I can't remember their names. Then they brought out the actual Uluru Statement that all the people signed. So they showed that on took that up onto the stage. So that's pretty
cool.
Emotional, actually, because that's what started this. What was it, 6 years ago? 7 years ago?
Can you believe that started this and people vote no to that, and the actual Indigenous people vote no to that? That's
just makes no sense, does it?
I just get a bit sad. At times I just feel like they've been hoodwinked. I mean, you've got people like Warren Mundine coming out going, actually, I wouldn't mind changing the date of Australia Day, and we're like, yeah, well, we wouldn't mind it either. And actually, treaties will be easier, and I believe in treaties. And I'm like, have you actually read the Uluru Statement, Warren?
And he now wants to be on the be part of the Voice, be elected for the Voice advisory group.
No, you're kidding.
That's the other thing he said on Sunday, I think it was. Yeah, because he was interviewed by on Insiders, so I didn't watch it because I was
He's a
at
Liberal.
the march. But yeah, of course. But yeah, isn't that funny that he wants to be on the advisory board now of the Voice?
But if it doesn't get through, there won't even be an advisory board.
Exactly.
And it'll be largely because of him.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Jacinta Price.
Jacinta, she's an interesting. She's.
Yeah, we won't go too much into either one. No. This is all about yes, not no.
So, yes, no, absolutely it is. It absolutely is about yes. No. Wow, you had some fantastic acts.
Yeah, so I had a couple of big name acts. We had Xavier Rudd, who I had heard of because I think he's played on Triple J a lot. But I've never really.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a bit folky type music.
Yeah. Very.
I'm sure he fits in Byron Bay. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I didn't realize that he was right into singing about Indigenous issues.
Very much so.
Things like that. Yeah. So, and that's the guy on the left. So he was solo playing guitar. And then on the right hand side, not the best photo. I couldn't really get too close. Bernard Fanning with Busby Maru, who are from Cairns, I think it was.
Vicky's just saying she loves Xavier Rudd, and I do too, totally.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to start listening to him a bit more.
Yeah, no, he's very good. Very good.
Yeah. It was a good good afternoon of entertainment, and I've got videos, but they don't play well on this. But there were videos of a troop from Torres Strait Islands, where they were doing their traditional dances, and they were literally 3 or 4 meters away from me. So yeah, and they had little kids as young as 2 or 3 years old, learning all the moves, all the stories. Yeah, so
Was
it's very
there?
cute.
Did it feel like there was real joy in the air? I mean, was it a really? Did it feel like it was a joyful, or was it a hopeful? Were people anxious, or how did it feel to you?
There was definitely a lot of hope and a lot of positivity. Spoke to a lot of people around us as we marched, and talked about why we're all involved, and yeah, and obviously it's for the best outcomes for the Indigenous. We can't be doing the same thing and expect different outcomes and things like that. Status quo isn't working if we continue down the same path. So there's all sorts of things like that. But yeah, generally it's very, very positive. It was really good experience. They did estimate about 20,000 people marched.
Yeah, they
Which is
had
great.
like I think 4 or 5 times, or 3 or 4 times that in Melbourne as well.
Mm,
It
mm,
was crazy the amount of people came out. Totally flooded Federation Square, and
yeah, I can imagine.
and they did that in Sydney, and Adelaide was really good as well, which is
Yeah.
one that we really need to get over the line. Adelaide.
Mm,
But the thing is, the other one we really need is Tasmania, and I didn't hear
yeah.
anything from Tasmania at all.
No, no.
But
Yeah,
they
I don't
do
know how.
have a premier that wants to vote yes. So,
Oh, that's good. And well,
and they've
he's
got
Labor,
Bridget
isn't he?
Archer.
No,
No,
he's
he's
Liberal,
Liberal
isn't he?
premier.
He's
He's the
Liberal.
only
Yeah, that's
Liberal
right.
premier in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gut wine or something. I think it is. I think
Oh,
it's
that's
gut
right.
wine or something. I think
Yeah.
that's right. And Bridget Archer, who is
Mm.
the magnificent Liberal. It's hard to say that. The straight face, but there you go. But she is though. She's a cracker. She should be an
Yeah.
independent. She's a cracker.
Yeah.
She's really, really good. So, that's fantastic. Well, look, I'm just going to be very quick with my little bit. I was up at Bright in Australia, and
Victoria, to be exact.
yes, I did mean Victoria, not Australia. My brain just left me for a second, came back, but there you go, just in time. So yeah, right, Victoria, and it was interesting. First day there, 28 degrees.
Nice and
But
balmy for spring.
it was absolutely
Pretty warm.
crazy. Oh
Mm.
yeah, the locals said they didn't know what had hit them, type thing. But
Yeah.
also the other thing is they have ornamental pear trees,
Oh,
and they have
nice.
many of them. Yes, well they can
Mhm.
be. But the problem is that the female stinks like necrosis,
Oh,
and the male doesn't. And so I
right.
was just
It's
standing in
usually
the
the other way around, but anyway.
Yes, I know. Tell me about it. But anyway, the I'm standing in the middle of the street, and I'm just going.
Really? That bad?
Just,
From a pear
I was.
tree?
It's not one pear tree. They've got a lot of them,
Wow.
and they're huge, and they're all in blossom.
So is
So
it the
if
blossom that makes it that
yeah,
smell?
absolutely, and
Right.
it doesn't come out for that long. So just remember,
Interesting.
if you're gonna plant ornamental pears, get a male, not a
Mm.
female. Unless you're very happy with the smell of necrosis and do whatever you
Yeah.
want, it's fine. No
Yeah.
problems. But anyway, back to the march itself. Yeah, so the march itself very, very small, very, very
Mhm.
small. Bright is part of the Ovens electorate, which is a National Party electorate,
Oh,
which
okay.
I had not appreciated before I went on the walk, which I would have gone on the walk regardless.
Regardless,
But
yeah.
when I realized some of the response we were getting in
Mm.
town, I realized afterwards when I did a bit of research and went, aha, now I know why. So
That's why
yes,
they were throwing tomatoes at us.
yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, people, we're getting nothing, just crickets,
Really?
absolutely cricket. Yeah, there's about
Wow.
50 of us maybe. And then this old guy, he was 70 odd or something. And it's
Mm.
obvious that he's been an activist for a long time, and good on him. He's fantastic. And I'm
Mm.
sure he's been an activist at, different union things in the past or whatever. He stands up for what he believes in. Fantastic. But he had this thing that he wanted to chant. And it was just like, What do we want? Yes. When do we want it? The 14th of October. I'm like, that is the worst chant in the world. I've got to tell you, I'm sorry. You've got to go to chant school. That is terrible. That is just disgraceful.
Hey, it's better than
not
Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi.
Well, that's true. If you don't know, vote no. See, that works.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it does. It works. But anyway, he wanted to chant that, and I was just thinking, it's not a chant thing. Don't because with the yes, the whole thing, it's meant to be positive, like Noel Pearson. Yeah, it was about love and embrace, etc. So I was just like, oh, chanty. Don't think so. So yeah, but yeah, so that was my experience. Not quite as good as yours, but the people that walked with us were lovely, really, really nice.
Excellent.
And all walks of life, kids, different cultures, everything. We might have had some Indigenous in there. I don't know, because I have made the mistake before and I won't make it again. That there could be Indigenous amongst me that I would not know about. So I've made that mistake before, so I'm not.
And how many people do you think went on the
march?
march?
I think it was about 50 or 60 of us or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't huge, but I mean, Bright's not a huge place.
No, it's a pretty small town.
Yeah, it's a pretty small town, and it's a National Party electorate. And also, just to make things worse, the Bright football finals were on that weekend.
Okay.
And the finals were in Wangaratta.
Right. Okay. That's
half the
40,
town
50 k's away.
Yeah. It's about 30 minutes or something. So half the town weren't there. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So marching all around.
Yes. Yes. So it was good. It was good. And as I say, it was fun to be with people that want to be there and they believe in the cause and etc. So that's pretty cool. But talking about people who believe in a cause, we should probably just spend a tiny bit of time on this. I know that we're going late as usual, but we really need to do this because
they know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the magpie's name. See the parrots, the shouting.
Now that's true. That's true. We are in a final this Friday, my friend. We're in a final with Great Western Giants, and Towie is a Roman sandal.
I can imagine.
So,
and you and the rest of the pie group, the crew are going, I believe.
Yes, the pie crew are going. I'm still not 100% exactamundo of where we're actually meeting. I think Faddis and myself will probably meet at the club, but I'm not sure what the other boys are going to do. I'm not sure. I don't know. But
it'll be a thrilling match, I am sure, as most of Collingwood's matches have been all the year. So I'm sure you'll have fun.
Yes. I think there'll be hearts in play and hearts in mouths and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, what is it? Tuesday. I'm already toey. It's just it's ridiculous. So.
And if I don't make it to next week's show, it's probably because I've had a heart attack after that match.
Whether we win or lose, that's probably true. That's probably 100% true. But I don't want to really spend too much more time on that because we've got heaps of other stuff to get through. So I just want to say, go Pies!
And, go Pies!
If you don't like pies, I'm sorry. I apologise, but there you go. What can I do? But you
might
like
our show, so that's there.
But you might like this, so hang in there.
11,780 election. Fellas, I need 11,000.
Losers only. It's Trapper. China.
Oh, speaking of losers, Khan the Lion says, Vicky.
Yes, I know. I saw that. I totally saw that.
Sorry, Vicky.
they've got a real shot. My
Mm.
prediction, and I could be wrong, obviously. My prediction is will be a Brisbane Bears versus Collingwood
Pies, yeah.
grand final. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my that is my prediction.
I
Now,
think
last
I'd
week,
prefer that
sorry,
over
go for it.
Carlton.
Oh shit, yeah. Yes, I don't want Carlton in the grand final either. Because if we lost, I mean, seriously, if we got in the grand final and we lose to Brisbane or Carlton, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, either way, but yeah,
uh,
to lose against Carlton would be the worst.
Yeah, I think that is pretty terrible. And talking about things that are pretty damn terrible, I had alluded to last week in the show that that I would talk about what's happening with Trump's latest case, because I was saying he might not even end up going, to be the president because of this new case that's coming up. So I just wanted to give some explanation of what I was talking about. And what I was talking about is the 14th Amendment in the American Constitution. Section,
what is that?
Yes. Well, Section 3 says that it was originally aimed at preventing former Confederate officials from gaining power after the Civil War. It's the same sort of thing as their gun laws. That was originally put in there for militia to bear arms, but that was done like in the 1900s, the 1800s, and they had muskets.
Yeah.
You know, they're blunderbusses or whatever, not AK-40 freaking sevens.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit ridiculous, but anyway. And the clause is called the disqualification clause. And it's gained prominence because after the events of January 6, 2021, when it was stormed by Trump supporters, and what it does, it prohibits individuals who've taken an oath of office from holding public office if they have engaged in an insurrection or a rebellion against the United States. And it can apply to senators, representatives, and other public officials. And the frequently asked questions about this is, can it potentially disqualify Trump, considering he did engage in an insurrection? The answer is theoretically, it could.
It could, yes. Good.
The disqualification... Yeah, well, absolutely. It's got to go to court. The disqualification clause could prevent Donald Trump from running for president in 2024. Under the 14th Amendment is distinct from impeachment, as it requires a simple majority vote and can be overturned by the courts.
Right.
So when he was impeached, if Mitch McConnell at the time said, yay, impeach him, he could never run for government again. He could never run for president again. So this could have all not even been a thing. If that guy, who's about 107, looks like he's about to die, just did the right thing.
There's a few of those in American politics at the moment.
Jesus. Unbelievable. It is incredible. It is unbelievable. So, so that is where we are with another one of his cases, maybe, because what's actually happening is a whole bunch of the states, each different state is going to be, obviously quite a few of the red ones, not I imagine, but many of the blue ones are going to put it up on the ballot to say that you can't vote for Trump because he is a disqualified candidate, which means they need to take it to court. So they think this is going to end up in the Supreme Court of America.
Oh, wow.
So it will be interesting.
So much heat on that guy.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know if it's worse or better, though.
Surely one of them's got to stick it eventually.
Oh, look, I agree with that, but I'm just wondering how nuts the MAGA and some of the other supporters would go if he was found to be disqualified. He didn't even get to run. I mean, if they're angry now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as I say, they've got all the nutters have got all the guns.
Yeah, true.
So
I'm just glad I live in Australia, not over there.
I'm hearing you, buddy. I am totally hearing you. I 100% understand what you're saying. And what I thought I might do is just finish off. I'll be very quick. I just thought I'd finish off, just in case people have been reading about it or hearing about it. The Speaker of the House over there is also thinking about trying to impeach Biden, just because why not? Basically. And it's been a bit silly of him doing so because, one, most of his GOP colleagues, he won't have enough to get it over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he does, it will be shot down in the Senate. And he actually needs to get the numbers up to have an impeachment. At the moment, it's just an impeachment inquiry. It doesn't look like he can even get the numbers up for an impeachment inquiry. So,
okay.
And his side of politics hates him. He was very, very lucky to be leader. So they're happy to just bring him down. They're just nutbags, absolute nutbags. So, So anyway, that's where we are with that one, and that's where we are with Trump Watch as well.
Trump, okay.
Trump Watch done. Do you have? Did you have anything to say on that?
Not on Trump Watch. I was going to ask about, speaking of indictments, Hunter Biden being indicted and how that might affect Slow Joe. But that we could leave that for another segment.
Well, it just so happens I have some information on that.
You do? Awesome. I'm glad, because I didn't have the answer. It was just a question that's on my mind.
I just had a feeling it may be. I thought it might be. So I thought I'd do a bit of research beforehand.
Excellent.
So what it is, right, as I was talking about the impeachment then, so the government's set to run out of funding by the end of the month and is careening towards a shutdown. Despite McCarthy's impeachment posture, Matt Gaetz, who is a pedophile, floated the idea of motion to oust him in McCarthy doesn't follow through on slashing spending, because they obviously don't like it when they do spending that helps anyone in America, like, make the Medicare, make the pharmaceutical prescriptions cheaper and all these different things that they have been doing. They don't like that because they want to give billionaires tax cuts. Don't ask me why.
Of course.
The risk is Hunter Biden was indicted this week on guns charges. More charges related to Hunter Biden's taxes and his business dealings could be coming soon. And this points to the possibility there could be a trial in a presidential election year when his father is running for re-election. Now, all of that's true. And they've got buckets and buckets and buckets of evidence that they have been churning through and trying to find anything that could tie back President Biden. But as at the moment, they have nothing at all.
Okay. That's good.
And the only witness that they had was a con man. So
right. Very reliable.
Yeah. Yes. Well done. Well done you. Well done you. So so with that, maybe we'll do some SAG Watch next week and see where we're going with that one.
Yeah, let's see where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, what we might do is might go to a break and then we'll come back and do a bit of education.
Nice.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
So I'm may let you go first, I believe.
Sounds good.
Get on the beers.
I need to get my beer.
All right, you go get your beer.
I have learned that you don't get it before the show. It goes warm. So
Yes, well, that's why I've got mine in a sleeve. Keeping it cool, I hope.
Nice.
All right, you go get yours while I get started. Okay. Today I am going to be reviewing a small local brewery from Mooloolaba. Say that 3 times when you've had a few drinks. Mooloolabar's on the Sunshine Coast, just north of Brisbane, here in sunny Queensland. They started as a contract brewery, making some beers for the bigger brewers, but they quickly realized they really wanted to go full bore and making their own beers. So they created their own brewery called Blackflag. And we've still got some music playing in the background, but that's okay. So my beer is I really have to wait for Kegsta to come back so I can show him. But it's Blackflag Brewing, like I said. The beer is called Rage, which is a juicy pale ale. It's got a 6% blood alcohol volume, which translates to 1.8 standard drinks in a glass or in a can.
Get on the beers.
Yes, so 6%. And just a quick recap of what its supposed taste from the brewer themselves. It's an all-American hops, lay down a juicy tropical base with mellow citrus and smooth, subtle dankness to finish, with wonderfully low bitterness and sitting at a blood alcohol level of 6%. This would have to be one of the juiciest suckers going. Who needs the mainstream? Yes, dankness. That's their words, that's their words, not mine. I don't know. What's dankness mean? Quick Google search says.
Even Keg GPT can't decipher that one.
No, that's a special translator, that one, isn't it? Dankness, which is dampness or humidity. Unpleasant wetness. There you go.
Yes.
Unpleasant wetness.
Oh, nice.
So like I was saying while you were away, my beer's from Blackflag Brewing, which is in Mooloolaba on the Gold Coast. And
that's one of my all-time favourite place names.
Is it? Why is that? Because of the
Mooloolaba.
It's funny.
I love it.
It's where a lot of Brisbanites, Brisvegans,
yes,
whatever they're called.
Yeah, probably Brisvegans rather than vegans. You can't get any freaking vegetables in Brisbane.
No, it's all meat. It's where a lot of Brisbanites go to for holidays, because there's a lot of little resorts, holiday places where kids can go, families and stuff like that. So, but
is it up near the Sunshine Coast?
Yes, it's on the southern side.
I think I've been there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice area. Good beaches, and it's my preferred coast. Don't like the Gold Coast. Sunshine Coast, the best in my books.
Yes.
But here is said beer. Let me get the.
Oh, all right. Rage.
Let me just get rid of my.
What's it called? Is it called Rage?
Yes, it's called Rage. It's a juicy pale ale.
Oh, that looks like a straight copy of Rage of the ABC fame.
ABC music videos.
Have they nicked that font? Do you think?
No. The font, other than being black and white, it's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very similar, but because they're beer, they probably get away with it. I mentioned. So.
Yeah, true. It's a very independent brewery. They, like I mentioned, as you walked away to get your beer, they started as contract brewing, but then they got into making their own. What I like about they're very cheeky. So on their website, when you go to the about and you get to see who created it, you've got Steve, Jeff, Ross, Ben, and Clint. But they're very weird because they've got a bio and they have things like, what are their likes? This is the accountant. His likes are Excel, not spending money, and chatting about chatting absolute shit. Favorite beer, Bloodstone. Random fact about Jeff. He's one of the biggest teddy bears we know. What was Ross?
What's the brewery called? Blackflag.
Blackflag Brewing.
Okay, cool.
Ross, who's the artist, so I'm guessing he's the artist for the cans.
Oh, right.
His likes are paint fumes, brekkie burgers, and old cars. Random fact about Ross: he holds the record for most kickouts of our bars. So it's just very quirky website with
very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
But
So
enough chit chat. It's time
business
for,
end. Yeah, that's
yes,
it. But you got to get the tasting shed up too.
Oh yeah. Thank you for the reminder.
No props. So I'm here.
Is that appearing? Hopefully that.
Yes, it is appearing.
That has
nice
appeared.
job.
All right.
Nice job.
So here we go. Let's try not to spill it on the keyboard.
While you're doing that, I just thought I'd tell you, Vicky has put a message through that she wants a repeat of 2003 if Brisbane and Collingwood against each other. So what she's saying is that she wants all of the Brisbane players to be hocked up to their eyeballs on drugs when they play us again. That's what she's saying. So,
okay. Yes. And hopefully, if it is the case, the scores will be reversed and we'll thrash them this time.
Yes.
Anyway,
I don't even care if we beat them by 1 point.
Yes. A win's a win, as they say.
Yes. And we've been beating so many by 1 point, so we might as well.
Don't care how we win.
No.
As long as we win. Anyway,
if it was half a point, I'd take that.
Yes. Beer in hand. Appearance.
Beer in hand. And what? Okay. Juicy pale ale.
So it's a pale ale.
All right. Okay.
Very golden in this
yes.
light.
Yes, it is.
I can almost read my computer screen through it, so it's very translucent.
Yeah.
So appearance, I'd give it an 8.
Nice.
So let's put that in. Bloop, 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 bloop. 8. Smell. I can already smell the citrusy flavors even without getting close to it. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, yeah, a very citrusy, bit of orange. I think I can smell in that one. So very pleasant, very nice. I'd give it it's quite nice actually. A 9. Now the taste. This is the important one. Okay, not very bitter. Can still taste a bit of the bitterness.
All right, so there's a bit of Abbottness left. That's what you're saying.
Yes, a little bit left. It's a little bit buttery.
Wow.
Yeah, so not too bad. Does seem a bit washed out for my liking. I'm going to give it a 23.
It seems to me that I could tell that you're a bit despondent on the taste after and you had this hope because the appearance, you were like, oh, I love the appearance. You were very happy with the ponce on the nose and you couldn't wait to taste it. And then I saw your face as you did taste it and I went, this is going to be interesting.
Sure.
No.
Aftertaste?
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 13 for aftertaste.
A
bit low.
That's very low for you.
Is it? Yeah. I think it's definitely drinkable, especially on a hot summer's day.
Wow.
It'll be quite refreshing.
Wow.
I'll probably give that a 24 out of 30.
So this has gone the way that I would like to see whoever we play on Friday night. Start strong, look good, and then the wheels totally fall off.
Yeah, especially in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Maths man.
Well, I think it's 53 and whatever's in the drinkability because can't see it. Oh, 53. So we're looking at 78, I'd say. That's 77. 77. That's one of your lowest.
Yeah,
ever.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That's
not quite. The last one we did I got 78. So Just looking
Oh,
at
wow.
the screen there.
Okay. You've
But yeah,
had
it's
some high
definitely,
ones, though. You have had
yeah,
some high
usually,
ones.
yeah, and not by choice. Quite often it's because I just choose them randomly, so it's not like I've gone, oh
Yes.
yeah, gotta
No,
try
I
this
get
one.
that. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, Blackflag Brewing Juicy Pale Ale. Wencee's given it 77 out of 100. And the important things here is drinkability is 24 out of 30, and the taste is 23 out of 30, which is quite low for tasting on this show. So that's a little bit low, but there you go.
Not a terrible beer.
No, not
I wouldn't
terrible.
complain. I've had worse. Like on the weekend, I had Sapporo because it was free.
Oh, that would have been better then.
Yeah,
That-
and I took about 2 or 3 sips and went, you know what? Not enjoying this.
Wow.
Tipped it out.
Oh, you are kidding.
Yeah,
That bad.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
my
that bad.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what it is, though? We're spoilt now. There's so much good beer in this country.
Ah, there is. Yeah.
You just don't need to drink. I mean, gee whiz, you don't even really need to drink out of your state. Sometimes you don't even need to drink out of your council
suburbs.
area. Yeah, I know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Yeah. Life's too short to have shit. So
Yeah, no, 100% agree. 100% agree. So look, I've got a bit of a weird and wonderful one tonight too, and this is straight from Bright. And I had fun doing this last time, but this time it's coming off faster than last time, which is good.
Okay.
And this little baby is going to be interesting. Frostfire. Now, unleash the beast and embrace the untamed spirit of Frostfire Australian Strong Ale. A Darker Days 2023 festival collaboration, this blazing bronze brew is aged on oak, giving it a touch of vanilla, caramel, and sweetness, and it's infused with chili.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, the things I do for this show. The nose bursts
sacrifice, but someone's got to do it.
with local Ella and Enigma hops. What? I got no idea. Followed by the intense abbotness of a strong ale.
The abbotness. Let's see how abbotness this is.
And the intense abbotness too of a strong ale. The abbotness intense. Get ready to ignite your taste buds. Yeah, well, this one's interesting. 8%.
Oh, wow. Okay. 8%.
Color's meant to be bronze, and yeast is AB for Moali, whatever that means.
Okay.
The malts are pale, dark, crystal barley, rolled rye, crystal wheat. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've got absolutely no idea about this. I really don't. But I thought I'd give it a go.
And this is from the brewery you went to over the weekend?
This is from Bright Brewery, yes. This is one of their weird and wonderful beers they do. They do normal, everyday, really fantastic IPAs and XPAs, etc. But this is one out of the box. So let's see what happens.
Well, that is very dark, isn't it? Not as dark as a red ale or anything like that, but a little bit higher so we can see above the signage. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is very bronzy, isn't it?
It is indeed. So I think color-wise, they've marked that pretty well.
To
be honest with you, since I have really no idea apart from it's a strong ale, I don't really know how to judge it against for a color, apart from the fact I'm not sure if I don't know if I like the color or dislike the color. I'm not sure. I'll give it a color 7. I give the color 7.
I guess if it's meant to be clear or translucent, because you've got some hazy IPAs that are meant to be really foggy.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't see this being clear, not with what's in it.
Yeah.
They've got the kitchen sink in it, so.
So appearance out of 10? Oh, you said 7, I think.
7, yeah.
Smell.
Do you know what? I know this sounds ridiculous, but I can't smell anything.
I get that sometimes.
I really can't.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give it smell 4 because I can't smell anything.
Smell anything. Okay.
No, that's it.
Interesting.
Here we go. Here goes the taste.
Very quiet. It's a bit concerning. The things you do on this show.
Yes, very true. Right. I better try that again.
Can you taste the chili? The fire.
Not yet. You can taste it's a strong beer. You can definitely taste that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a stout, strong?
It brings tears to your eyes strong.
Okay.
It really does. Look, I'm going to give it 25.
Oh,
I'm
so you do like it out of 30.
I'm being a little generous. It's probably the 8% alcohol.
Okay. I'm surprised by that.
The aftertaste is actually okay. It goes away nicely.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of Abbottness. I can't.
There's not?
No, I'm not getting intense Abbott.
Okay. Because they claim to be very intense Abbott.
It's intense. Whether it's Abbott or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'll give the aftertaste probably 14. Now,
drinkability.
It's got to be low because you couldn't have too many of these, if any more than one.
So will it start with a 1 or a 2 out of 30?
Well, you might get another one in, maybe. Just I'm going to give it 22.
22.
Look.
For a grand total of 72, one of the lowest we've had for a while.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay.
I must admit, I didn't think it would. It tastes very much like I probably thought it would. But I thought I'd give it a go.
And it's not an indication of the rest of their range, is it? Because that's one of their extreme.
Absolutely
out there.
No, this is absolutely out there. Yeah. No,
okay.
It's nothing like no. They had some fantastic beers actually. They've got a magnificent IPA, and it's about 6%. Absolutely beautiful. That probably would have been an over 80 beer.
Easily. Yep.
Oh yeah, it's just lovely. You could definitely drink a few of those. Just the fact that it's 6%, after you've had a couple, you sort of start feeling them. But no, the beautiful beer, and the XPAs there are really nice as well. I tried another. They had another IPA as well. That was really good too. So no, it's that's their core range. The ones I'm talking about now is their core range. That is definitely not in their core range.
Yeah. So stick with the core range, unless you want something to really blow your socks off.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to waste it all. Drink it, but it'll take me a little while. So,
we've got about 20 minutes left on the show, so you've got plenty of time.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay, so I think who won that one? Did you win that one again?
Yes, I won 77-72.
Man, if we were taking tallies on this, you would be winning most, I think.
Yeah, I do generally am a bit lucky, I guess. Pick a few good ones. I'd
just like to keep it a bit weird at times, just to see what's out there.
I just usually go by the artwork.
I know you do. I have
simple.
noticed. I totally have noticed. And I mean that's weird and quirky in itself. There's no doubt about that. So that's very cool. Very cool indeed.
Definitely attention.
So no, absolutely. So maybe what we'll do is just go quickly to a break and then come back with Do Yourself a Favour.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
Hi, it's Ashley Fizame here, and you're listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and Kegsta.
You absolutely are. You're listening to The New Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta. Next up, do yourself a favour. So tonight on Do Yourself a Favour, if you have just joined us for the first time on The New Blurt, Do Yourself a Favour is all about the best and worst, I don't know why I ever say that, the best podcasts that we can find or the ones that we're listening to at the moment that we find pretty interesting. And we like to share them with you, basically. So we've had some crackers in the past. Wencee's had some really good science ones. I think Science Versus was a really good one, and I think he had Science Friction or something was another one, and had some really good ones. And I've had a few political ones in the past with Democracy Sausage and The Party Room and some different ones. Anyway, tonight we're veering a little bit away from that, and the one that I'm looking at is called... if you just indulge me for a second, I just need to have a look at my notes here. But it's one I created earlier. Here we go. The podcast I'm looking at is called Films to be Buried With. And it's hosted by Brett Goldstein. And if anyone is a Ted Lasso fan, they'll know that Brett Goldstein played Roy Kent in Ted Lasso.
Yes.
And if you
One
haven't
of my favorite
seen
characters.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, stop watching us and go and watch it. And
No, do that after our show.
no, that's fine. I don't mind. If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, you can do that first. Just get out there and watch that show. It's absolutely awesome. So I'd say probably one of the best TV shows. Well, one of the best screener shows that's been made for a really long time. Just absolutely adored that.
I've really got to watch season 3. I know. It's
yes, you do. If you haven't, gee whiz. Yeah. Oh, my God. So you don't know how it ends yet. I nearly let the cat out of the bag. Oh, my God.
Don't.
So,
I'm glad I said it.
Yeah. And Vicky, if you've watched it, don't tell Wencee, seriously. So anyway, it's hosted by Brett Goldstein. And if you've ever heard Brett Goldstein not on Ted Lasso, he is totally different to what he is on Ted Lasso. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
You won't recognize him. He's got a much softer voice for starters. It's just way, way softer. And he just doesn't have all that sort of harshness he does when he does Roy Kent. That's what they call acting.
Yeah.
So he's very good at that. So anyway, he has a real love for films, and he has some fantastic guests who come on and just talk films with him. And one of the ones that I've been listening to recently is one with Jason Sudeikis. And if anyone knows who Jason Sudeikis is, he's Ted Lasso.
He is.
So it's pretty cool because they're both real film nerds, and it's just a really cool way to spend an hour, and also pick up some really good films that you can catch up with your loved ones, etc., and enjoy. So it typically features discussions with guests about their favorite films and explores the connection between films and their personal lives. And it often delves into guest cinematic experiences, how certain films have shaped their perspective or memories. And this sort of podcast and this sort of format, it's been done before. It's not like it's something that's 100% new or original or innovative or whatever. It's just that Brett puts his own spin on it just because of his lilt and just the way that he holds the show and the characters, the actors and guests he has. Just makes it fun to listen to.
Okay.
So, Films to be Buried With. It's on all of your podcast apps, and it's. I think it's a cracker. I would give it 4.2 out of 5 Blurtstars.
Nice.
There you go.
Awesome. I think I'm going to have to put that on my list for tomorrow morning when I go to work. I'll listen to it on the bus.
Nice.
How long do the episodes go for?
They're normally around, to be honest with you, I think they can sort of be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour or even a little bit more.
Depends on the guest, I guess.
Yeah, it just depends on the guest. Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice one. I like it. I'll be reviewing on Do Yourself a Favour I'm even at my age.
Right.
It, that was the beer, by the way, for everyone
Yeah.
who's
Not you.
listening.
Mm.
If you could see his face now.
Oh, could be
Yeah,
going down the sink, really, honestly. Could
yeah.
be.
Don't force it. It's not worth it. Life's too short.
No, it is. You're right. 100%.
Yeah. So even at my age, I still listen to Triple J because I do actually still like listening to what the young people listen to these days.
I like Triple J. It's awesome.
It is a youth station, so I'm hoping
is.
that makes me feel youthful,
Young at heart.
young
my
at
friend.
heart.
Yeah.
But on Triple J, and I think it's actually on Double J, if you're listening to the radio, but they have a podcast called J Files, where I think it's once a week or once a month. They highlight and focus on certain bands, and they talk about the history and why the band formed, and are they still together, if they're split up or not split up, etc. So I started listening to it this week because they focused on a band that one of my favorite bands called System of a Down.
I didn't know you were a System of a Down fan.
Oh, big time. If you could see
Wow.
my Spotify playlist and the number of times I listen to that. For those who don't, Chop Suey, exactly. System of a Down's a metal band from the US. All the band members are Armenian. And so the podcast goes into the history, how they formed, are they still around, or are they still together as a band? They never set out to be played out on radio. It was never their intent, but they did hit the big time after their first album.
In the 90s or
90,
late 80s?
98. They formed
So
in
late
97, and
Right.
98 they released System of a Down, the self-titled album. They describe themselves as Slayer meets Beatles.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not bad. I
yeah,
can see that.
yeah. They released 5 studio albums, and they ranged in topics of the songs ranged with political topics like the Iraq War, where they were against it. They talked to quirky topics like baseball. One of the songs is all about baseball. Another one's about consumerism, things like that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because the podcasts go for about an hour, so they go into a lot of detail. They rely on archival interviews they've had on Triple J over the years.
Who hosts it?
Caroline Tran.
I love Caroline Tran. She's
awesome. I used to love listening to her on Triple J. She hosted Super Request Show in 1999, then went to the lunch slot in 2001. Then she switched to the weekend breakfast slot in 2003. And when Double J launched a few years ago, she started DJing or like hosting certain segments on that, and now she does.
She
the
must be somewhere
J-Files.
near our age, so she's
She
not
is
youthful
a
herself.
year older than me, so she was born in 1991. Yes,
there you go.
she's actually Vietnamese and came out during the Vietnamese War, so she was only 2 or 3. I did a little bit of research on her as well.
Nice. No, she's awesome. I've loved her since I was a kid. She's awesome.
Yeah, I used to love listening to her. I could just listen to her all day.
Yeah.
One of the other J Files I started listening to was Tex Perkins, whose real name is Gregory Stephen Perkins, and he's a Brisbane boy and grew up during the Joe Bjelke-Peterson era.
Gerrymander time.
Yeah. Terrible times. If Vicky was online, she'd tell us all about it.
I did an assignment on it back in high school.
There you go. So he realized back then in the 80s that under Joe he couldn't flourish as a musician, so he moved to Sydney, where he formed I do have it here. I just lost my.
What was Tex Perkins' band? I know he did Tex, Don and Charlie, but he had his own band before that.
Yes, I've got it here.
Yeah,
so he landed in Sydney in the early 80s. I lost track.
Dark
of
Horses or something? Is it the Dark Horses?
Possibly. Then he formed Beasts of Bourbon in 83.
Yeah.
That was the big one.
Yeah.
And then he joined the Cruel Sea in 1987.
That's the one. The Cruel
That's the one you're
Sea.
thinking of.
Yeah.
So he was a lighting technician at the time, working with Cruel Sea. So he wasn't part of the original band, the Cruel Sea, but he then made his way in.
How did they work out when he was doing the lighting? Was he just singing, doing the lighting, just having a heat wave?
Must have.
Shit, you're good, man. You should join.
You're a good singer. We should have you as our singer. Right, put out the old one. You'll just have to listen to the to that J file.
Nice.
And hear
Titillation by the Wencee.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. Other artists that they cover on J files, and there's a plethora. Angelique Kidjo, Yoko Ono. They talk about women in hip hop. De La
Love
Soul.
Angelique Kidjo.
Yeah, she's great. De La Soul, Depeche Mode, although I think they call themselves Depeche Mode. Archie Roach, Kimbra.
Is that
the
right?
list goes on and on. Yeah, so heaps of artists that they talk about. Highly entertaining. The System of a Down, I think I listened to 3 times because there's just so much information and I just wanted to know more about it.
Wencee, we have someone loving your work. Mark Smith has said, so I thought I'd just call that out for you.
Thank you. That would be the Mark that I met on the YES23 march.
Very good.
Day.
Very
nice. So thank you for tuning in there, Mark.
Yes, absolutely.
So the J Files, I would give it a 4.2 out of 5 Blurtstars. Really enjoyed it. Quite entertaining. I will probably continue listening to it.
Nice.
And before I end my segment,
yes,
I'm just going to quickly mention. We've talked about this one before. Take Me to Your Leader with Hamish McDonald. That is back for season 2.
Nice.
And the 2 that they've covered so far are very topical at the moment. Vladimir Zelensky and Joe Biden. So
I cannot believe I have missed both of those. That is disgraceful by me. So I need to get
your favorite podcast player and start listening to any of those 3, really. Those 3 podcasts we've talked about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. So you're looking at films to be buried with the J Files, and what was the other one, Wencee?
Take Me to Your Leader.
Take Me to Your Leader is back. So absolutely, as we will be next week.
Next week, that's right.
For another episode of The New Blurt. And hopefully, we will be very happy when we come back.
Yes, because we'll be in the grand final against Brisbane Lions, maybe.
Yes. So I really do hope that happens. So, look, thanks everyone for joining the show. Wencee, as usual, amazing work. Thank you very much. If you want to get in touch with us, Wencee will put all the Instas, etc. They're all down there. blurtster@gmail.com. We've got Twitter at BlurtNew, Insta at BlurtStar, and you can subscribe to us at Substack on the newblurt.substack.com. We can always email you a copy of the show link that you will get into your email each week if you would like to do that. We will have another pod ready to go probably tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. We'll have last week's show ready tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, we've all been a little bit busy this weekend.
Yes, we have. So we've been a little bit lax on the time front, but we will make sure that that's up so that people can have a look at that. And then obviously this will be done this weekend, and this will be ready for next week. Yes. And you can have a listen to the Yes Show. If you have already been listening, thank you very much, and we will see you next week. Go Pies! Thanks, Wencee.
And have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.